Okay, that sounds good. Well, we are going to start with updates and user emails. No user emails today, but this is an update because last week we talked about the sextortation scam that was showing a picture of your house, but now scams now using cheating spouse's name as a lure. A new variant and the ongoing sextortion email scam is now targeting spouses, saying that their husband or wife is cheating on them, with links to the alleged proof. In sextortions, email scammers pretend to have hacked into your computer to steal images or videos of you performing sexual acts and demand that you send them 500 to 5,000, not to have them sent to your friends and family. This is a variation on it. Cheating spouses. Threat actors first began sending this new sextortation email variant about 3 weeks ago, with both wives and husbands reporting on Reddit that they received the email. So just know that, people will just be doing anything, but this is out there, and don't believe it. Crypto scammers deepfake Apple CEO Tim Cook's during iPhone 16 live stream. I watched this and it was really kind of, well, I watched the Apple presentation, but doing research, excuse me, I watched this particular one from Tim Cook. And it was weird. It was like really, really close. But YouTube was flooded with live streams featuring deep fakes of Apple CEO Tim Cook that shrilled crypto scams, and the tech giant's own live stream unveiling its largest generation of iPhones. In one of the September 19th scam streams shared on X, an artificial intelligence faked Cook asked viewers to send Bitcoin. Here we go again. Bitcoin, ETH, Tether, USD, Doge to a contribution access, claiming that Apple would send them double the amount back. Have we heard that one before? Once you complete your deposit, the system will automatically process it and send you back double the amount of cryptocurrency you deposited, the AI fake Cook urged. So, never believe that it is, and people still fall for it. But just know that they are doing, really good AI out there. So don't even necessarily believe what you see, which is, going to be hard going forward. So on August 19th, 2024, Microsoft identified a North Korean threat actor exploiting a zero-day vulnerability in Chromium, now identified as CVE 2024-7971, to gain remote control code execution, or RCE. This is, who knows if you've had this, but the biggest takeaway is that you want to keep everything up to date, because Google released a fix of the vulnerability on August 21st, 2024, and users should ensure that they are using the latest version of Chromium. And for anybody that doesn't realize it, Chromium is the foundation for Chrome and Brave and I think Opera and other browsers. So Chromium is what they build their pieces on top of. Now, I use Brave, so I'm not sure if you can see a pop-out, but to make sure that you're on the latest and greatest, in the upper right-hand corner on most browsers, you'll see, I know on Brave, it'll go green, yellow, and red. Red means danger, you are way out of date, and please update. Whenever I see a green and especially a yellow, I do the update. And if you wait too long, you are going to have to download and install a new version of your browser. So do it while it's green or yellow. But if you go to the upper right-hand corner and you go down to settings, you'll have the settings pop up. And in Brave, you'll go down to the bottom left-hand corner where it says About Brave and the version. Click on that. Well, click on that and you'll see that Brave is up to date. So that's what you can check. And don't wait for fixes. Don't wait to update. I believe on the 16th, Apple's going to come out with their new versions for their Mac OS, their iPhone, iPad, etc. Those you can wait a little bit because you're kind of on the bleeding edge, kind of like our go-to webinar now, which seems to be bleeding edge because we get cut to pieces every week. But you don't have to go to the major ones, but definitely keep up on the updated ones from time to time that are released. So crypto news. Leak chain analysis video suggests Monero transactions may be traceable. Remember Monero? It's not supposed to be traceable. A leaked chain analysis video suggests that Monero transactions could be traceable despite the privacy-preserving nature of the blockchain. The leaked video, which outlines the company's tracking method related to the coin, has since been deleted. Chain analysis potential ability to track XMR transactions raises concerns, as Monero brands itself as secure, private, untraceable cryptocurrency that keeps your money confidential. When Cointelegraph approached the on-chain intelligence firm about the leak, a chain analysis spokesperson said they have no comment to share at this time, which probably means the video is accurate and they just don't want to get themselves in trouble by releasing it. So be careful if you have Monero. It's just like in anything. We're going to talk about WhatsApp too. You think it's private, you think it's secure. I wouldn't necessarily always rely on that. Crypto firm CEO resigns after being robbed of company funds at gunpoint. Nick Durenko, the CEO of crypto research education platform Revlo Intel, has stepped down, and he said that he was held at gunpoint and forced to transfer personal, company, and investor funds. I was recently targeted, surveilled, and robbed by a highly sophisticated group, Draco wrote in September 5 X post. The group was specifically interested in crypto assets and knew the deposit addresses belonging to the crypto business I operate. I was forced at gunpoint to log into the number of crypto accounts and transfer the funds out. He added that the thieves stole his personal funds, some working capital of his company, and retained earning, as well as funds from Revlo Ventures, the firm's investment arm. This is another reason why you don't want to be really broadcasting what you have. I mean, if you're head of a company, it's hard to do, especially if they know it's crypto. But if it's in our universe, just keep that private. This is why being a gray man is the way to go. Cryptocurrency investment fraud cost Americans $5.6 billion last year. Americans were scammed out of more than $5.6 billion in 2023 involving cryptocurrency fraud. The FBI said in a report that the agency received over 69,000 complaints last year from victims of financial schemes involving Bitcoin, Ether, and other cryptocurrencies. The FBI report released on Monday showed a 45% jump from losses in 2022. The most common scam was investment fraud, which accounted for $3.96 billion of losses. So if you were a part of this, know that you have some good company, at least $5.6 billion lost. It goes back to make sure you know where you're sending it, who you're sending it to, where your keys are, and just keep safe and private so you don't get frauded. AI deepfake attacks will extend beyond videos and audio, a security firm says. On September 4th, software firm Gen Digital reported that malicious actors using AI-powered deepfake scams to defraud crypto holders have ramped up operations in the second quarter of 2024. There's ways that you can be cautious about this, and AI is getting so good. We talked about the Tim Cook video, and we're just not sure where it's going to end up. But cryptocurrency transactions are often high in value and can be conducted anonymously, making them more attractive targets for cybercriminals, as successful attacks yield more significant financial rewards and lower risk of detection. And how to detect AI-powered deepfakes? Well, it's getting harder, but begin being skeptical of unsolicited requests for money or personal information is crucial, and enabling multi-factor authentication for sensitive accounts that can help and add an extra layer of protection against scams. So be careful. I actually, during the research this week, I saw someone that put up a picture of themselves and it unlocked their phone. I don't remember which phone it was, but it's hard to be safe. We just have to put a lot of work into it. And so this is a kind of different one, but Binance Loans introduced fixed rate loans. Binance Loans is excited to introduce fixed rate loans, providing users with more options for stable coin borrowing and lending with predictable rates. This is an innovation service offered a fixed term loan with a custom APR fixed for the entire period ensuring a smooth and straightforward financial experience for both suppliers and borrowers. So we've been talking about putting crypto up, getting a loan against it. Everybody's getting in the game, and Binance seems to be a company that I would hope would not go bankrupt. But so we're seeing it, and we'll see if it heads toward the financial system, the real legacy banking system. So technology news. How to defend against brute force and password spray attacks. This one goes into a little bit of detail, but I wanted just to remind people that just because you think the password is secure doesn't mean that it is. And that, I don't know any of my passwords except for my password manager's master password. Everything else is completely random. But according to Verizon, 89% of breaches involved the human element, including using stolen credentials or brute force methods. This statistic highlights the importance of robust password policies and user education. Make sure, when you're selecting a password, that you have robust password policies, I'm getting a little bit of feedback. Jay, on that. Use a multi-layer defense. Make sure you have secure passwords. Don't take your one password and then just, do an iteration of that, like putting a 5 or something like that. It's really easy to figure out because someone will go in and see your email address. They'll see your past password that have been hacked, and then they'll just play off that and put numbers and letters and everything else, especially if they can get multiple passwords from different hacked sites where they may, if you use a particular word and then you just add letters or numbers, they'll be like, okay, well, we're just going to do that for every iteration, and we're going to do a brute force, and we're going to break into their account. So enforce robust password policies, implement multi-factor authentication. So make sure you are using MFA or multi-factor authentication on the accounts that you can. It is well worth the time. And monitor the limit and login attempts. So if you do see that, on a regular account, a login that is a valid login from another country, another part of the United States, identify that and make sure, number one, that it's real. Don't ever click on something that comes in the email. Log into the website itself, and it might have a list of places that someone has logged into. And just keep on top of that so that you don't have to spend a lot of time fixing things in the future. Crypto vulnerability allows cloning of YubiKey security keys. I know that sounds really scary, but it's not as bad as it sounds. YubiKey security keys can be cloned using a side channel attack that leverages a vulnerability in a third-party cryptographic library. EULeak leverages a vulnerability in an Inferion cryptic library that is used by YubiKey and products from various other vendors. The flaw allows the attacker who has physical access to the YubiKey security key to create a clone that could be used to gain access to a specific account belonging to the victim. However, pulling off the attack is not easy. In theoretical attack scenarios described by Ninja Labs, the attacker obtains the username, password of the account protected by the FIDO authentication. FIDO is basically YubiKey. The attacker also gains physical access to the victim's YubiKey device for a limited time, which they use to physically open up the device in order to gain access to the Infinion security microchip and use an oscillating scope to take measurements. So it's not as scary. You have to have physical access of the YubiKey. There is I don't think it's in this particular article, but they said the vulnerabilities are in version 5.7 and newer will take care of that. I looked into it myself. I'm like, well, I'm just going to update the firmware. Well, you can't on a YubiKey. I think I'm not going to tell you my version, but I'm like 5.2 something, and there's no way to update your YubiKey. The only way to update it is to buy a new one. I understand why that's the case, because if you could rewrite the firmware on a YubiKey, then that could be readable to other people, and they could, get your YubiKey and clone it as easily as this. So if you have an old YubiKey and you feel like you're in an area where someone could gain access to it, you may want to think about upgrading them from time to time. That's I guess, going to be my new strategy after this one kind of goes through. I will, every couple of years, just like Ledger, update my YubiKeys. It is kind of a pain to take one off and put another on, but to be secure and private is not easy. It's just the way things have to be. So Bug lets anyone bypass WhatsApp view once privacy feature. WhatsApp, the most popular end-to-end encrypted messaging app in the world with more than 2 billion users, allows users to exchange pictures and videos that disappear soon after opening, or so we thought. But a bug was in how WhatsApp implemented its so-called view once feature in its browser-based web app allows any malicious recipient to display and save the picture and video, which should have vanished immediately after being viewed. But there's good news. They did fix it, and MetaFixes easily bypassed WhatsApp view once privacy feature. And the reason why I showed both sides of it is, yes, the vulnerability is there. They did fix it, but we don't know what we don't know. Haven't said that in a while. So we need to be careful of what we're sharing. If I was sharing something with somebody and it was sensitive information, I might say, hey, I will send it to you via Proton because I know that I feel that is a little bit safer than, even sometimes, well, for sure, WhatsApp. But remind people like, okay, delete that information so it's not laying around on your computer. I would also delete it from my sent mail. So you got to be careful what information is being shared out there, what information on you gets out of your control. And WhatsApp, who knew that this was an issue, but it was. So for security, we have to stop picking up the phone. How do you know that the other person on the other end of the phone call is really who they say they are? Early in July, Ferrari executive was flooded with a barrage of WhatsApp messages that appeared to come from his boss, the car maker's CEO, Benetto, but the Ferrari executive didn't recognize the number, and he couldn't be sure it was really his boss. Suspiciously of the flurry of messages from the unknown number, Ferrari executive took a call with the person who claimed to be Veniga. Despite the fact that the purported CEO had Veniga's southern Italian accent, the executive still felt something was off. So he asked the caller something only Veniga would know, something that the two personally discussed days earlier. Sorry, Benito, but I need to identify you, the executive said, and then the call abruptly ended, and potentially a colossus fraud was avoided. So just because we think that it is the person we had last week. Someone said, hey, someone was using my phone number to order a bunch of things that we don't really know. And so having some personal identifiable information that you could ask the person on the other end might really save things, because the police or the feds are not going to call you with the claim that you have a warrant out for your arrest or to demand a payment to invalidate the warrant. There is an arrest warrant out there for you. The police won't leave a threatening voicemail. They will come to your home and get you. It's unlikely that their healthcare provider will call you and demand payment over the phone without first sending you a letter or a paper bill. So the alternative is to just stop picking up your phone. If you don't know the phone number, which the majority of time I will not pick up the phone unless I know that someone's going to call me with a quote for a window that needs to be replaced, I'm just not going to pick it up. And if someone leaves a voicemail and they need to, you need to get back to them, that's the better way to do it. And if they say they're from Citibank, well, then call Citibank directly and don't use the phone number that was left on the voicemail. So just something to think about, because our phone, how many times do we get spam or scams sent to our personal phone number? Hacker Trap, and I love this because they're eating themselves. Hacker Trap, fake OnlyFans tool backstabs cybercriminals and steals passwords. Hackers are targeting other hackers with fake OnlyFans tools that claims to help steal accounts, but instead infects the threat actors with Luma Stealer information stealing malware. The operation, discovered by Verity Research, constitutes a characteristic example of the blurred lines between the predator or prey in the world of cybercrime, where ironic twists and backstabs are abundant. So, hackers are hacking hackers, and, that's where I wish they would stay instead of getting into our world. But Bug left some PC Windows dangerously unpatched. So if you're a Windows user, Please listen up. Microsoft today released updates to fix at least 79 security vulnerabilities in its Windows operating system and related software, including multiple flaws that are already showing up in active attacks. Microsoft also corrected a critical bug that caused some Windows 10 PCs, Windows 10, not Windows 11, to remain dangerously unpatched against actively exploited vulnerabilities for several months this year. So to correct this, if you're a Windows user, you're Windows 10, to correct this issue, users need to apply both the September 2024 Service Pack update and the September 2024 Windows security updates. Ken Breve, Senior Director of Threat Research, Immersive Labs, said that the root cause of CVE 2024-43491 is that the specific version of Windows 10, the build version numbers that are checked by update services, were not properly handled in the code. So just make sure that you are update. The automatic updates are not going to work. But go back in if you're Windows 10. You should probably go up to Windows 11 anyways. But the both September 2024 Service Stack update and the 2024 September 2024 Windows security updates. And Apple will release iOS 18, Mac OS 15, iPad OS 18, and other updates on September 16th. I did watch the preview. I will be getting a new phone because my mom needs her phone replaced, and that's how we handle it in this family. In this family, I get a new phone every time, and then it goes to my mom, my father-in-law, my mother-in-law, and that's how they get new phones. And that's the way the things run in our family. And if you want to listen or watch to what's being put out there by Apple, please do so. Now, I did have one person that said, "Hey, I am upgrading my ledger. What do I do with my old one?" And this is just a reminder to people as we get closer to things really, the bull kicking off. If you don't have anything to back up your hardware, you want to keep that ledger or treasure or whatever as a backup. So I always have, seems like, two of everything. Anything important to me, I have two routers in my house. One is not plugged in, but if the router goes bad, I need to get up right away because it's going to affect everything in my life. So having an extra ledger, excuse me, that is a backup, just keep it tucked away, update it every now and then, plug it in every now and then so the battery doesn't die. But keep it as a backup. And if you then have a backup of a backup, then hand it off to someone else that might be interested in crypto.